Hello, everyone. My name is Jung-hee Son, and today I'll be introducing this assignment, Connecting Our Spaces. Through this project, I'd like to explain how even if we come from different environments and are in different spaces, they could still be perceived by many of us in a similar way. The artifacts I'll be engaging with are Message in a Bottle, Perry Memorial Arch, Amber's picture of her grandparents, Megan's picture of family and friends, the Tranquil Trail, and Central Park. Starting from the first category, imagination, I'd like to highlight Megan Cohen's artifact, Message in a Bottle. The keywords associated to it are dreams, myth, and beautiful. In her presentation, Megan mentions how this bottle represents the end of a chapter in her life, and after she graduated 8th grade, how this holds a motivational quote inside. The next artifact is the Perry Memorial Arch, an artifact that can be found at the entrance of Seaside Park. In my presentation, I mentioned the myth that it holds, saying if you walk in one arch with your dreams, you'll walk out the other on a road to success. I did that with my friends a few days after we graduated just for kicks, but if you observe closely, you could see that although it was during different periods in our lives, Megan and I both have an artifact that represents or is associated with our graduation in some way. I chose the keywords dreams, myth, and beautiful because as a graduate, our minds can be full of dreams. We put our faith in facts, but can also venture into myths. And that part of us is beautiful. I think the similarities between our artifacts wrap up nicely into the category of imagination, which is why I chose that. And the next artifact I'll be talking about is Amber Crespo's picture of her grandparents. In her presentation, she mentions how her family is such a huge reason why she loves her space, and also how her grandparents took her to see her first baseball game. I think it is safe to assume that Amber holds a lot of affection towards her family, especially her grandparents, who she created a fond memory with. The next artifact is Megan Cohen's picture of her family and friends. In her presentation, Megan spoke really fondly of her family and her closest friends, describing unforgettable moments and how they make up a huge part of her life, as well as how she would not be who she is today without them. I chose the keywords family, memories, and affection because it is evident through the presentations they gave that although the people in our interactions might be different, whether they're family or friends, they are people who we hold dear to our hearts, who we created many memories with, and who we have a lot of affection for. I thought the category relationships wrapped up these similarities and those keywords very nicely. So that's why that's there. And last but not least, I'd like to introduce the category significance of nature. The keywords I use to describe this category are peaceful, thoughtful, and relaxing. In her presentation, Emma Brown told us about the trail near her house where she goes to think or just clear her mind. Similar to this, Taishi Bennett's artifact also mentions, or in her presentation, she also mentioned how her open space in Central Park is where she goes to think, relax, and catch a few rays of sunshine. They're different spaces, however, the surrounding nature is able to create an atmosphere in which they both can find a familiar place to think, relax, or be at peace. In this way, I thought it would be fitting to name this category Significance of Nature, and that was the reason for the keywords as well. So I hope you guys are able to understand the connections between the differences and similarities of each artifact through this presentation. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day.